Today's show is sponsored by Kyrios Consulting. That is Kyrios with a Y, Kyrios. Real estate investing can be intimidating. That's why you don't do it alone. Kyrios Consulting gets you from no real estate to your first rental property. My friend Steve did it right here in New Hampshire, and he wants to help other Christians do the same. Visit consultingbykyrios.com. Again, that's with a Y, consultingbykyrios.com. No more excuses. The world needs more Christians with passive income, not more passive Christians. Make it happen. The link is in the description. All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. It has been a few days since I uploaded, and a lot has happened, that's for sure. Actually, let me start here. Obviously, the Mets, man. Wow. I feel like I've got a real good sort of gut on, gut instinct on how the Mets are going to do. And, I've said this before, but, the last year when we were awful, everyone in the media, everyone assumed we were going to be back in the playoffs, and I knew we weren't. I knew that we did not get any better. In fact, I assumed we got worse, and every other team out there got better except for us, and so I called that one dead on the money. And then this year, everybody assumed that we wouldn't be anywhere in the mix in September. And I predicted we would be in the mix in September. Now, I did not predict that we would go to the playoffs, but I did say we'd be in the mix. And man, are we in the mix. It has just been awesome to see. I attended a game at Citi Field a couple weeks back. That was just amazing. A Phillies game, probably the best game I've ever attended. And then that game on Monday, man, if you missed it, the doubleheader with the Braves, everything on the line. Just one of the best baseball games I've ever seen. And that's, I've seen a lot of baseball games. I'm the kind of guy that I'll watch like 150 games in the season. Like I don't catch every single game, but I don't miss that many. I miss maybe 10 or 15, and that's about it. So I've seen a lot of baseball, and that I've never seen a game that was more meaningful and just more awesome than that game on Monday. If you don't watch baseball, I feel bad for you. I do. But I will say that in baseball, one of the things that is definitely true is the gap between how awesome playoff baseball is and how awesome regular baseball is a very wide gap. There's no playoffs like baseball playoffs. It's just like it feels like a different beast, a different animal. Hockey's kind of like that too. Like playoff hockey is way better than regular hockey. But even that, it doesn't do justice to the gap between playoff baseball and regular baseball. It's just a different thing. It's otra cosa. I love that commercial. El béisbol es una otra cosa. In any case, man, it's been a wild ride. The Mets won yesterday, too, against the Brewers, and it was just so awesome. The Mets have everything. They've got a deep lineup. They've got solid pitching. And I got to be honest, one of the things that I love about the Mets right now is they've got a perfect heel. A perfect heel. He's the kind of player that when he's on the other team, you cannot stand him. But when he's on your team, you love him. And Jesse Winker is the perfect heel. Everybody hates him. And that's why you want him on your team. In any case, let's stop talking about baseball here. We're going to jump into it. Also, this weekend, I was at John Harris's conference, which was fantastic. I think I technically won the fishing tournament, but because I didn't catch a bass, I caught a couple of pickerel that were, I think, bigger than this one guy's bass. I gave it to him because I couldn't tell. He didn't have a scale. I had a scale. He didn't have a scale. And it was a decent bass. It wasn't that big, but I said, hey, man, you win, and all that kind of thing. So, I'm a humble guy, you know what I mean? I don't have to win everything. I did have a definite tournament-winning bass on the line, but I lost it right next to the boat. It was like a 2.5, 3-pounder for sure. In any case, yes, but that was a great time. John's message on Sunday morning was fantastic, and then all the messages were really good. It was fantastic. So if you guys don't go to the John Harris Men's Retreat, it's not really a conference; it's more of a retreat. I highly recommend it. Next year, I'm going to try to do some more marketing for him because I want that thing to be bigger. More guys there would be great. But there was a good, solid group there. Just fantastic, man. Those are the kind of conferences I can get behind where there's, it's just really a gathering of guys. And there's a lot of free time. There's a lot of just, interacting with everybody. There's no green room or anything like that. It's just awesome. It's just awesome. All right, but let's get to the topic today. Ray Ortlund. Oh my goodness, this is not. Let me just say this. Ray Ortlund. I've been on to Ray Ortlund for a long time. I think I refer to Ortlund for the last few years as the Ortlund crime family. He's one of the movers and shakers of Big Eva, and he's not always in like doing it in public. He's more of a behind-the-scenes kind of guy. He's more, moving the chess pieces around kind of guy. You know what I mean? It's like the boss in the mafia. Tony Soprano's not always the guy making the hits, but he's always calling the shots. He's a shot caller. Ray Ortlund is a Big Eva shot caller. And when he comes out and he says something stupid publicly, pay attention because he's setting the tone for his capos. You know what I mean? That's what he's doing. He's making some moves, and every now and then he asserts his will, but it's very similar to Tony Soprano, You can't talk to Tony directly necessarily, but you could talk to his capos, his consigliere, all that kind of stuff, I wonder who's the Silvio in Big Eva? That's what I want to know. Who's the consigliere? I don't know. Maybe if you have any options, put them in the comments below. I'd be very interested to hear what you have to say. But Ray Ortlund is one of the bosses of the five families. You know what I mean? And so anyway, but I've been on to him for a long time. I've always known he's one of the most manipulative people out there. He is a liar. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. He lies. He's a liar. And we're gonna show an example of that here as well. But he's a liar. He's a manipulator. But the one thing that I'm consistently impressed with Ray Ortlund. It's impressive. I mean, I don't know how to express how impressed I am with Ray Ortlund. He finds ways to say something in the most homosexual, gay way that he possibly can. And he beats his own record again and again and again. It's like, how can he top it? And then he tops it. His phraseology is so gay. It's hard to understand how a man can just summon within himself the willingness and the ability to phrase things in the most gay way any human being can possibly phrase things. And that's where I'm impressed with Ray Ortlund. So let's read this. This was a few days ago on Facebook Threads. He left Twitter a while ago, and I'm pretty sure it had something to do with being gay. I have no idea. I don't remember. But he left Twitter in a little tizzy. Anyway, on Facebook Threads, here's what he says. He says, "Never Trump. This time Harris. Always Jesus." You can't not be impressed with that. It's not that he's voting for Harris. I assumed he was voting for Harris. I mean, if you didn't assume Ray Ortlund was voting for Kamala Harris, Cornelia, whatever her name is, Coretta Harris, Kamala. It's Kamala Harris. It's Kamala. If you didn't assume he was voting for Kamala Harris, I don't know what to tell you. That didn't surprise me. What surprised me is how gay he phrased it. Never Trump, this time Harris, always Jesus. It reminded me of this one tweet that I did a whole video on because it was just so gay. Where he's like, people call me woke, but I don't care. I've decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back, no turning back. I mean, what do you say to a guy like this? This guy is so respected too. That's always perplexed me, and it still does. This guy's managed to get this reputation where he's like this lion for the faith, and he's just gay as all get out. It's unbelievable. I've never understood it. In fact, the last time the Mets were really good, and I'm not counting 2022. I agree with that Phillies player. 2022 was a Braves player who said that we were just lucky, not good. I agree with that. It was Spencer Strider. That's who said it. The Mets are lucky. They're not good. I agree with him in 2022. But in 2015, we went to the World Series. And we played the Royals, and I'll never forget it because I was friends with Jared Wilson at the time, and we were at his house. We were at Jared C. Wilson's house, and he watched my kid when the Mets were in the World Series against the Royals, and it was in Kansas City. But I'll never forget it. I mean, Jared Wilson, this is his mentor. If you want to know why Jared is the way he is, just look at Ray Ortlund. This is his mentor. This is his teacher. This is the guy he respected more than anybody. Never Trump, this time Harris, always Jesus. He's got this squeaky clean reputation, but he's awful. He's awful. And then, of course, you got David French Jag. I don't know. I mean, I know what Jag means, but I cannot help but read it with an F instead of a J. David French. This is the way. This is the way. Oh, man. And there's Philip Derrida. Guys, I'm starting to wonder if the guy who said he was happy the Bible Belt is dying is maybe playing for the other team. Just maybe. I don't know. I'm starting to think. Maybe there's a few signs. Maybe they're playing for the other team. I don't know, man. But it's just unbelievable. I mean, and the fact that he's kind of proud, like the tweet is gay, but it is also surprising that he's just kind of proudly saying this. Because my assumption is that 90% of Big Eva is voting for Harris. But most of those guys won't tell you. He at least tells you. It is a little surprising that he's telling you. He's voting for Kamala Harris. One of the most evil platforms and women of all time. Of all time. There's no possible universe where Coretta Harris is better for Christians and for the country than Donald Trump. No possible universe. I'm sure of it. Got that mental knowledge. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then, of course, we have William Wolf here. He points out that tweet, how Ray Ortlund rejoices at the decline of the Bible Belt religion. It made bad people worse in the name of Jesus. Now may we actually believe in him so that our churches stand out with both the truth of the gospel doctrine and the beauty of gospel culture. To that end, I gladly devote my life. So he's happy that people in the Bible Belt are, declining. He's happy that, they can't afford their food. They can't afford their housing. There's a lot of fentanyl there. He's pumped about it. He's pumped about it. Because all it means is that the truth of our religion, I guess it's this truth. I don't know. What is he talking about, the truth? Never Trump, this time Harris, always Jesus. A pretty straightforward tweet, too. I mean, honestly, like, everybody instantly understood what he's saying here. Instantly. Straightforward. He's voting for Harris, and David French Jag, he's here for it. He's here for it. But here's the thing. So this was so interesting. I wasn't going to do a video about it because, listen, I mean, I can call Ray Ortlund gay all day long. I mean, it's nothing I haven't done before. No big deal. Usually I see a tweet like that, and maybe I'll retweet it. Maybe I'll make a few comments, but I'll just let it pass by. But this is why I'm doing the video, because he deleted the tweet and pretended like people didn't understand the tweet. So he deleted it, and he's like, well, you guys just misinterpreted me. You misinterpreted me. That is a surefire way for me to draw as much attention to it as possible. This is so dishonest. So dishonest. He deleted the post because it was being misinterpreted, and he says, I should have foreseen it. My fault. My bad. My fault. It wasn't misinterpreted. Everybody knows what you're saying. This time, this choice, it is the Christian thing to do to vote for Coretta Harris, because obviously Trump is way worse than Kamala Harris. It's insane, obviously. I mean, I can't imagine anyone thinking that, but it is the big evil way. It is the big evil way. That is what they think. But he deleted it and said, hey, we're being misinterpreted. And then actually, I didn't find this tweet because I didn't want to spend too much time on this. But somebody asked him, how is it being misinterpreted? It's 3 sentences. We all know what it means. How is it you're voting for Harris? We get it. And he responded, interestingly, because usually you wouldn't expect him to respond. And he said, no, I can't talk about it because that might make me want to repost it. So this guy's he's just lying. This is a lie. He wasn't misinterpreted. He's not deleting it because he was misinterpreted. He's deleting it for another reason. He's lying. He's a liar. And this is the kind of lie that you like. You can say it because you feel like you can never be called on it, so you feel comfortable lying. Like when you feel like you can't be called on the lie, it's more tempting to lie. Tim Keller used to do this all the time. We've talked about this 100 times. You know, he posts the thing where it's too specific to not be about a certain person, and then when he's called, he says, why don't you just name the person? He goes, well, it wasn't about that person. It was just a general statement, a general pearl of wisdom. That's a lie. It's a lie that we can't prove it's a lie because you didn't name the person, but everybody knows it's a lie. It's a lie. You don't get away with lies just because someone can't call you on it. No lie goes unpunished. No lie goes unseen. There was a great message at John Harris's retreat today about how there's nothing that's done in the dark. Nothing. You can't do anything in the dark. You might pull one over on people, but you're never going to pull it over on the Lord. The Lord sees Ray Ortlund here lying with a squeaky clean freaking image. He sees it. You don't get away with it, Ray. You don't. And by the way, you don't get away with it with us either. We see it too. We all know you're lying. We all know. We all know. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, in any case, Ray Ortlund, it's just, I'll be straight up with you. I mean, Ray Ortlund's style and his public persona and everything that he says in public and the things he does behind the scenes in the smoky rooms and all that stuff, we know about that stuff too, Ray. We know about it. We've heard it all. Maybe not all, but we've heard a lot. We've heard a lot. We know what goes on behind those closed doors. We figured it out. We know. Some of us are close to you even to this day, and we know what you do. Some of us used to be. And we see behind the scenes how things work with your public Twitter feeds and stuff like that. Oh, I can't post that because this person, that person. We've seen it all. We've been next to the machines of evangelical power. We've seen too much, and too many of us have come out of that to not know. We know what goes on. Every time you have your little sneaky meetings, just remember this. We will find out. We know. You wouldn't believe the people that I talk to. You wouldn't believe it. There's people that are your friends. They don't tell me the details. That's gossip. We're not into that. But they tell us how it works. They tell us how the evangelical machine operates in general terms. And many of us have been in those machines. I mean, sometimes at the low level, but sometimes at the very high levels. You can't get away with it anymore. It just doesn't work that way. But anyway, what I was trying to say before I got distracted was that Ray Ortlund's public stuff and really all of Big Eva's public stuff, like this guy, this is the second gayest guy in Big Eva. I mean, maybe he's not even in Big Eva. Maybe he's just a wannabe. This guy's just a wannabe. He's trying out for the team. You know what I mean? It's spring training, and Danny Slavich is trying out for the team. He's desperate to get on that roster. In a world of wolves, be an Ortlund. This was also deleted. This is how these guys, how many tweets are these guys going to delete? If you say it, say it. If you want to say it, just say it. In a world of wolves, be an Ortlund. Man, this guy's thirsty. He's thirsty. It's so pathetic. And the thing is, like the Big Eva public personas, I'm just going to say it. Literally, every single thing I do not want my sons to grow up to be. Danny Slavich, Ray Ortlund, Jared Wilson, Tim Keller, all of these goons. All of them. Russell Moore, you can just keep naming them. At night when I pray to the Lord, it's like I don't want my sons to be like that. Help me. Help me to help them be men of character. Help me to help them be men who speak, and there's gravity to what they speak, and they're not like, oh, you misinterpreted me, I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Look, I've deleted tweets. I've deleted tweets when I make a grammar error that changes the meaning of the tweet. that's completely different than what I meant to say, then I'll delete a tweet. But most of the time, I even leave those up and I just correct it later. For posterity. For posterity. And I've done that before. Like, I'll name the wrong person in the tweet, and I'll delete that tweet because I didn't mean to say it about that person. I meant to say it about a different person. Name the people you're talking about. That's another thing. It's like against Big Eva policy. You can't name the person. Name the person so that people can, you respect your audience enough so that people can go and check the other side and say, did he say that? Did he really mean that? I don't know. I want my sons to grow up and to realize that when they speak, there needs to be weight to your words. There needs to be some kind of integrity to your words, so much so that you don't have to delete it and pretend like people were misinterpreting you. This is an easy tweet to interpret. It's not complicated. It's not complicated. My opinion is probably what happened is that people close to Ray that are also respected in the Big Eva communities kind of said, dude, what is this? What is this? And enough people did that where he's like, yeah, maybe I overplayed my hand. My capos are a little uppity. And that's the thing. Tony Soprano, he makes a decision. He's got to make decisions based on what he thinks he needs to do, but also there can't be dysentery in the ranks. You know what I mean? He can't be dysentery in the ranks. So he's got to make sure that when he makes a call, when he calls a shot, he's got to weigh his shot, what he thinks he needs to do against what his capos are going to think about it. It's not a job anyone really wants, to be honest. Who wants the job? This day and age, who wants the job? It's serious. Like, if you have sons, man, you gotta do whatever you can, and you gotta ask the Lord for mercy, because this is what you don't want, to have fork-tongued, weaselly, just absolutely pathetic and sad excuses for men. It's pathetic. And a lot of people were connecting Gavin to Ray, which of course you have to. He's his son. But I don't blame Gavin for how gay his father acts all the time. I don't blame him, but Gavin has his own thing going on. And he learned from his father, well, you misinterpreted me. No, we didn't. You said what you said, and we interpreted it just fine. Now, if we reach different conclusions than you do based on what you said, that's different than misinterpreting you. That's different. Because if you think you're a stalwart conservative crying about climate change, man-made climate, well, you got to have those climate credits, maybe. I don't know. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Who knows? We can't be a science denier. If you think that's what makes a stalwart conservative, and we're like, wait a minute. No, it doesn't. That's actually the other side. That's not the same as misinterpreting you, obviously. What a weasel. Like, he's grown up to be a weasel, like his father. The apple doesn't fall far from the Ortlund tree. He's a weasel too. Gavin is a weasel too. And also, Gavin chooses to often say things in the most effeminate way he possibly can. This is something that's learned. This is something that Big Eva teaches. It teaches men to chop off their testicles and to go around acting like women. It teaches men that. And this is, yesterday was the J.D. Vance debate. I didn't watch the debate because I don't like watching debates, and I'm of the opinion that the interesting stuff, the funny stuff, will all be clipped anyway, so I could just watch the clips. But you see the clips, and it's just like, the women are all upset because Vance spoke over them and didn't allow them to cut him off or whatever, and all that. They're all upset. Oh, he just disrespects women. I'll tell you one thing right now. I've said it before. I'll say it again. If pastors and politicians learn to just say no to women when they have crazy ideas or when they're trying to rig the game, that in and of itself would fix like 90% of our problems. 90% of our problems. We've got massive issues in the United States of America, and the women think that the most important issue is, I got to be able to kill my baby when I want to. I mean, obviously. And here's the thing. We got to learn to say no to that. We do. I'm sorry. I'm not concerned with that right now. That's insane, you psychopath. I've got other things I got to deal with. I've got other things I need to deal with. Now, obviously, I wish, and I'd be lying. I mean, I told Ben Zeisloff this in a side conversation. It wasn't really a conversation, just a couple texts met back and forth. And I said, I'd be lying if I said that the abortion stuff with Vance and Trump doesn't take wind out of my sails for voting for Trump. You know what I mean? I'd be lying if I said it doesn't take wind out of my sails. It does. It does. Now, I'm not saying I'm not voting for Trump. I am still voting for Trump. But I'm not as excited as I used to be. Right? I'm not as excited as I used to be voting for Trump. But I'm still operating in reality. I am. I'm still operating in reality. And I got to be honest with you. I think that the desire to placate women and to please women is ingrained in a lot of people. A lot of people. But it's encouraging to see JD Vance, push back on that a little bit. That's an encouraging thing. That is a good change. And that's a change that needs to continue to happen. I cannot tell you how many churches I have known about that have been completely destroyed by women and their preferences and their desires and stuff like that. You just need to learn to politely but firmly say no. No. You need to learn to say no to women. Because they're not always right, and often, their instincts are not correct. They aren't. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. In any case, I guess that's it. I guess that is it. Ray Ortlund, yeah, I mean, he's, I saw a lot of people giving Megan Basham some credit for kind of, exposing the Ortlunds a little bit. And I know a lot of guys have been onto the Ortlunds for a long time. And it's just the truth, man. This guy is a weasel. He's a weasel. He's everything I really want to train my children not to be like. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. In any case, I hope you found this video helpful. God bless.